Hello, welcome back to the Living Process. My name is Greg Madison, and this is episode 43. My guests this time are Dana Ganihar and Baruch Brenner. We had a fascinating conversation, for me at least, on their form of teaching focusing, but it's actually, I think to say it's teaching focusing isn't really correct. It's bringing in the Kabbalah and bringing in the process model and using the wisdom, almost using them both, I think, as wisdom traditions, if I can say that, that help to point to the much deeper level of focusing as an insight into what it really is to be human. I don't think that's saying it right, but you will hear our attempts to really describe this very deep commitment to and passion for what focusing can actually be, or more so, what a human being can actually be, and how focusing gives us a method to help to find that. And it is a much broader, big picture view of focusing. Yeah, I appreciated it very much. And I suspect that many of you will also get a lot from this. Here it is, The Living Process, and episode 43. Welcome back to The Living Process. My name is Greg Madison, and my guests this time are Dana and Baruch. Welcome.
Hello.
Very nice to see you both. And I usually have one guest, so we'll have to take turns a little bit. But I am very curious, first of all, to know how you each found your way into focusing.
Yes, it's a question, with one question with thousands different kind of answers.
Yeah.
For me, it was like everyone. It's like a pure, I don't know, grace because someone before I left Israel to go to the States for several years, someone came to me and told me that the focusing book is for me. And I didn't know what it is, and she never read it. She just said, I saw it and I knew that it's for you. And I had thousands of books in my library, and I just took this little book with me and I read it, and right away I looked where can I learn it. And it was in New York, and I would continue to say that it's not just the grace of like finding focusing like out of it's like the huge present that I got. And it's also when I went when I started to learn it with Anne there, and then I went to a changes meeting which was held by Mary, and Rob Parker was there on the corner reading a process model to few people, and I was drawn like a magic there. And I listened to his reading, and it felt like I'm hearing some old music that I know, but I forgot, something like that. So for me, it was like meeting not just the focusing, but also this deep, deep, deep wisdom. And it went together. I cannot see the one without the other.
That's interesting that it wasn't just the practice that spoke to you, it was also the philosophy around the practice.
Yes. And I didn't see it as philosophy, but I saw
Yeah.
it as a deep sacred knowledge that helps me to understand what I'm doing in the focusing practice and to understand what I'm doing in life, so to speak.
That's interesting. I think that's unusual. I remember Gene for the longest time never taught the philosophy to the focusing community because he thought no one would be interested. And yet for you, they somehow came as one piece.
Yeah, I think it's a sad split.
Aha, okay.
It's a sad split because of that, it like goes there's the practice,
Hmm.
and people are doing it, and it's so wonderful, and it's really contribute to their lives, but they don't know. Many times they don't know that it emerges for something much more. I would even say important to human lives.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's how you got into the focusing world.
Yes.
Baruch, I'm wondering how you found your way in.
Uh, I can say there are three stages how I uh, how I met focusing. First of all, the question is when how I met the movement of carry forward, and I can say that the movement of carry forward I met in my I can say as Kabbalistic life.
Mhm.
I use it a lot. I didn't know that to call it in this name. I use it when, like, I was an artist. I directed many pieces in the theater. So, in my the basic way that I worked like an artist was like how to work through the process of carrying forward. So I can say this was a way that I met that I met. This is like I say, I met in the first time the process of focusing, but I never know about focusing.
Mhm.
And then it was very important stage when I met Dana. And I can say it was like, I think, like few months that we sat together every week. We met, it was like someone introduced us to each other. And in a way, most of the time, we made a process model. Most of the time we spoke and we spoke about a new way of understanding life, a new ways how to processing life,
Mhm.
and the meeting between my life and the way that Dana understood the process model. And I can say in many ways it was the first meeting I can say with the way that I later I understood more the way that Gene I understood that Gene was the project of Gene in his life. So this was for me like the second in the meeting with Dana and the way she understands she understands she thinks the process the project of Jenny. And only then I can say I started to learn the practice again through Dana. And I think for me it's very meaningful that I can say in my life that this was the process that I met.
Mm.
I met the meaning. I met something that I sense that Jenlin all his life. Now I know that all his life
Mhm.
works to find terms, to find meaning, to find way to help people to carry forward. And again, I can say their life or the precious of their life or the uniqueness of life. Even I don't want to say their life, but the uniqueness of life.
Mhm. So for both of you, the practice, this is the way that I would say it at least, it's like the practice didn't come on its own. For you, Baruch, it's like you already had a sense of the carrying forward through your own tradition and through your creative process. And then in your discussions with Dana, the two of you started to talk about a process model, and that gave you some kind of further understanding, and then the practice came.
Yes, I think during these months, we already dedicate time, first of all, to practice, and then to learn the steps, then to see how Jean, I can say, transmit his way of thinking, his way of sensing life into steps or into practice. And I think this is part of the reason why I sense that for me, it was never a practice. It is a practice that carry forward something that is wider. And it's not only wider, it's something so unique that in my life I saw that many practices can miss it, can miss something that Jenlin was looking for or sensed in his life all the time. I think all the time he sensed life from, I can say, from this depth or from this unique sensitivity.
So maybe let's just jump into what it is that the two of you have developed, because it sounds like it came out of that meeting and something mutual. You must have both found that you had a sensitivity in common that you have developed. And I'm curious what you would want to say about that.
So let's start, and then Baruch will continue, because we're exploring it now for years. So we'll just start to...
And what I'll do is I'll interrupt every once in a while when I need something clarified, okay?
Please,
yeah, okay.
As much as you want, even if you don't only want to clarify, but you want you hear something that you want that say it again.
Yes.
Please, as much as you want.
Perfect.
Because what helped me, I continue, what helped me so much with the dialogue with Baruch and all the Kabbalistic texts that he brought. And slowly, I wasn't aware of it. I never learned it.
Okay.
I encountered it just through Baruch, and later on maybe. And Jenlin opened a radically different door for humanity. And he's doing it with such a unique concepts, and in a language which I would say, just would call it here esoteric, not just to say that you cannot just read it. If you just read it, you will objectify it. You will not get it. You will think that you will get it, but you will not get it. And for a person like me, that I never learned the hidden path of, in this case, the Jewish sages. It was like, how can this stand alone? How what he's developing and the depth that he's reaching, how can it be carried without collapsing to non-paradigm? And a wonderful paradigm. There's a well-being paradigm. There's a therapeutic paradigm. There's the different, meditation paradigm. There's a different kind of paradigm that people know. And because it's so strong in our society and culture, it's very easy to collapse to one of those areas. So the question was how we can work with this wisdom and not fall into the known area, which are perfectly wonderful, but there are other people who are taking care about them, and slowly make space for something that is uniquely different and yet so much needed.
So that much I'd like to say back. That you felt there was something so, these are my words, but so precious about this paradigm that you wanted to know how could this sort of stand on its own without being subsumed within a pre-existing tradition or context.
Yes, and it's not easy. And when I met Baruch and this knowledge that had such a strong resonance, it is, we sometimes call Genlin a hidden Kabbalist, because there's such a strong resonance, and he gives language and concepts and steps to wisdom that was developed, not the same wisdom, but there's a resonance hundreds of years ago. All of a sudden, my perspective became wider, and I said, okay, here there's something very stable that can help to establish and help to carry forward the work of Genlin and help it not to collapse, because it gives new definitions. It gives, it's like you have two eyes now and you can see depth.
It's a nice metaphor. But I guess my first question would be, but isn't that sort of like doing what you were wanting to avoid in a way by bringing in a existing tradition?
But it's this existing tradition has hundreds of years worked of how not to objectify, how to put it's like what I see that a lot of time people that are doing focusing, it's very wonderful, but they don't hold the bigger picture.
Yes.
But this particular path, don't let go of the big picture, and works so much and takes so much care that it won't collapse to our regular way of perceiving the world.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a help. I saw it as a help.
I think I'm getting it better now. I think what you were wanting to preserve is something about the bigger picture. You didn't want it to collapse into something too narrow.
Yes, but not intellectually, because you can have the big picture cognitively, but your life won't change.
Yes.
But how you can, sometimes we call it how you create new wiring of who you are, how you understand life, how you understand what you're doing in life, and how focusing is like was meant to help you with this. But if you don't know it, it's like you're a bit handicapped.
Yeah, I like that. That's exciting.
Maybe even we have to clarify what it means to cross between Genlin and the ancient Kabbalistic wisdom. Because I think to many people when they hear the word Kabbalah, they already, I think they have the impression that to mean something mystic, something that is not real, or something esoteric. But we don't speak about it. It's not a question of, it's not about it. And if I will say a few assumptions of the Kabbalistic wisdom, first of all, it's thousands of years that unique, I can say unique, very unique people, they evolve this knowledge, that in the basic of this knowledge is the understanding that we are, as human beings, we evolve through our biography and through the history, because we have a narrow idea, a narrow picture about what it means to be human, not what it means to be a healthy person and to develop yourself through your perspective or through your persona in life. They understood, and they have in the background the picture that humanity are in a progress. And the human being, as we understood ourselves, it's a very narrow picture. And in fact, even what it means to be human, I can say it is a living process or life movement. It is a life movement that all the time have the capacity or even have the commitment, a holy commitment, all the time to find, like to create, to participate in the creation of new ways that you understand who you are and you understand the world, in order to participate in the creation beyond the way that you understood till now in your life. This is what it means to be a human. And I can say through the history, they develop very first of all new terms through which you can really to open yourself. If I will mention a few of them, and I say it in Hebrew, and then maybe it's very even not easy to translate it to English. But the basic of your life, there is no definition. You cannot, even it's forbidden to find definition to the essence of life. There is no word that can, no symbolic word that you can point to the essence of life. Even the word divine, it's not about the essence. You know about yourself, and you say the self, you already explicate something, but you already make a transition between a different kind of order, if I will use Janlin words, and our way to explicate and to carry things forward. So they speak about the essence, you can call it, we say it in Hebrew, atzmut. You can speak about the first movement that you can sense, and even this movement, they will call it Ein. Usually people translate it to nothingness, but you can say there is the pre-concept layer, and only then you can, through it, you can carry forward something that you can sense as a wisdom without content. And only then you can find to continue to carry forward. Again, there are many names about it. It's about, you can call it the father and mother, you can call it chokhmah and binah, wisdom and understanding. And then you can, through new combination, to carry forward something from the unknown. And through it, you can live your life, and you're supposed to live your life in the ongoing process that every moment, for example, now, I can say now we speak to each other, but the question, if now in our meeting, I can sense, and we can sense, the three of us, to carry forward something new from the unknown, and to even to be open to it. In the Kabbalistic world, they speak about ichudim, a kind of unification that you sense all, you can participate in all the process that starts in a, you can say, pre-mental or pre-conceptual layer, and to bring it in order that life will continue to be carried forward. So this is like a holy way of living. It's not a dogma. Mm-hmm. It is a kind of capacity that you have to evolve in your like a person that is beyond your personality. You work with your personality and you change your personality, but this is the way, this is, I can say, the sensitivity that we have as people to have about life in every meeting, in every moment. Mm-hmm. So when first of all, we have to understand, we speak about something that deal with this way, or develop ways to live life through this sensitivity, because our life, and this I want to say that I never met Janlin, But if I will quote Lynn, that she said that she said that many times he says to therapist people, when you meet someone, sense the reverence, because we sense life. It's not a game. I would say in my words, it's not a game. It's not only to have a well-being, but sense this reverence. And I think if this is the way that I understand Dana, when we bring them together, they and this is maybe the wisdom of crossing, that you can see things that maybe, like you said in the beginning, maybe Janlin even didn't think that he can transmit. Like you said about the book A Process Model, that how many people could speak with him about it and understand and to work with him, maybe a few, maybe more, but it's not everyone.
So let me just say something back. You have said so much, and what I realize is happening in me is a real feeling in my chest of this isn't the right word, but it's a kind of excitement about what you're saying. And what I'm getting from it, if I put it into words, which I know is almost going backwards a little bit, but what I'm getting from it is that you're pointing towards a level of being that is essential and developing.
Yes.
And it's from there that you can have a very different appreciation of and reverence for life.
Yes.
But it's not something that you can define.
You can. I will not say you cannot define, but you have terms and you have a process how to work with it, how to work from there. You cannot define it, but you can carry forward from that.
Okay.
It's like Gendrin is saying that people now have this sense of the wholeness, but few are speaking about order of steps that you can make this movement from this whole wondrous unknown mystery slowly into what he calls in a process model symbolization without a symbol, which a new self-understanding emerges, and then it comes into words and into the interaction.
And I want to say, the people that we meet in Israel, but not only in Israel, in people that we meet abroad, everywhere, I think so many people today, they have the sensation, I can say, of this depth, or even they look for it in so many ways. But I think many times, I can say, a wide knowledge is missing. They need a wider knowledge, and then even a knowledge, I can say, how to work from there. I can see for even students that we meet, that many times, even I will say it in this way. Even when we teach focusing, I think that focusing, it is a wonderful way, a wonderful tool in order to develop yourself, to arrive to the ability really to make focusing, really to carry life through focusing. So it's a kind of a practice. I think in the beginning, people, when they do focusing, they cannot do focusing. Like Jelin says, he says about himself, many times I find myself make feelings, make order. But true focusing, if you really all the time bringing from a wider perception, people start to experience something. Then if they really have the opportunity to meet the knowledge and the wonderful things that then speaks in a process model, then step by step they arrive to a state that they start to live their life, and they have the ability really to carry forward the unknown. And I think people today they look for it. They look for it, and many times, even when they arrive to to many practices, they feel that something is missing.
And maybe just I can add just quickly, what does it mean to carry forward the unknown?
Yeah.
I mean, can we take seriously what Jenlin is suggesting, that when you have a new concept in the focusing or a new understanding, it never happened in all the history of humanity? Can we really take it seriously? Most people say, well, I maybe something new, but it's not new to everyone, that like they are limiting where they can get with it. But when he says it, he means it. That when we carry forward something not from the known and the condition, it's not just that I feel better now, understand a little bit more. It's a new creation. It's a new creation. And that's why I like the word that Baruch is using, that we are participating in a creationing. Mm-hmm. All the time, a new creation can come through us. Mm-hmm. And how do I know when how can I start slowly to think about it and see my focus and say, okay, but I didn't change order yet. I didn't arrive to concepts that are beyond logic. I didn't feel that I created, how they are saying, new earth and new skies in the Kabbalah, in the Zohar.
In the Zohar, they speak about that you have to arrive to, this is what you have to do in life, to participate in the process of creationing a new heaven and a new earth. Like you have to change the horizon, you have to change the way that people think that this is the culture. And it is, I think today, after we already pass, I can say, the revolution of psychology, the revolution of the body, and the revolution of consciousness, and maybe even the revolution of psychedelic. I think after all these experiences that many people have in their life, I think we can start to sense the opportunity to really to be human, really to be human, and really to understand that you're not only participating in the world as it is, you're not only develop the concept as they are, mm-hmm. You're not going with the concept that already exists, but you have the ability, not because you wish, but because through this process to carry forward life, culture, who you are, what it means to be human, etc., etc.
So let me just say that back to you, that this is what it means to be truly human.
Yes.
Is to live from this ability to carry forward. And you had said carrying forward the unknown. And I'm wondering if that would be the same as to say carrying forward the always more than known.
Yes, here, Dana, you can say it in more precise way. I think there is a reason why Jenlin in his life he didn't want to speak about to say the word the divine or God, like and even though he, for example, in chapter 8, in a process model, he bring Eckhart, and in the obedience, there are places that he speaks about how you have to to understand that you are beyond the edge of awareness, and you are there more you than mm-hmm. you understand yourself in your in your life. But if I will not speak about Jenlin. I think many generations generations, why they use in Hebrew there is no it doesn't exist the word God or divine. In the Bible there are many names of the divine, many names. Most of them you can pronounce, one of them you cannot pronounce, and there are more that are hidden and you can only find in the Kabbalistic scripture.
Why you cannot pronounce it? Just say it, because so it won't feel like some sort of.
You cannot pronounce it because it is not something. Because if you pronounce it, you will already speak about. You already will explicate it, and you will not have the ability to be it or to immerse in it. You already will have. Even about pronounce. Usually we think about I have interpretation. Even to pronounce is already bring a kind of interpretation. It's like you have to know it and not to say it. It's another, I can speak about it a lot. It's another way of sensing I can say the process of life. And the other names are all of them are kinds of a process. Each of them is a unique process. How you can say what we cannot speak about, because it's not only when you say I don't only to live in the known is more than this, because why we have names? Because we speak about a different kind of order. Many times names can help you to pass to another, even to open yourself to another realm or to another, I can say to another layer that it's not in your regular concept. So the translation to English, only to say it's very difficult, because in Hebrew each name has a different meaning to the okay, like cultures that they have many words to snow. Okay, it's a kind of understanding of the kind of interaction with what here I like generally, and I will say with ... Yes, I will open it. But we know this depth, and again, I don't know how to save my words that they will not sound like a mystic in a mystic way or in a superstition. No, it's like only to know how to have more sensitivity of more layers of life that you can evolve yourself to sense it, or again, to be a human from it, through it.
Can I check with you what I think I'm getting from what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Because it feels intuitively like it makes sense to me, but it might be making a very different sense than you intend. So let me check. Because it sounds like you're saying this. Well, I want to say it back this way because this is actually my experience. And if you're saying more than this, I want the more as well. But what I'm getting from what you're saying is that there is, if I say it this way, just kind of sloppily, there is an act of naming which takes you further from what actually is. And there is also an act of naming that can temporarily help you to flow to a new place. And we know that in focusing, if you can find a word, an image, something that helps the body to move forward or the felt sense to shift, then you find yourself in a new place where, again, you have to be careful not to just fall back into another act of naming, because then you lose the new place that you've just moved to.
Yes, absolutely. I want to take even a moment of silence after we reflect it. I want to say why it's so important. I feel the important the importance of it in my life, and I think in humanity. But I will speak now in a personal way. I can say in a very simple way, to relate to myself as Baruch. This is one way, and I will be in contact with a few things that the word Baruch connected with. I can connect to something that is unknown to me, and I can sense it, and I can sense life from there. And of course, it can be something that I only can sense it, or there is a wisdom that I can, again, processing life through it, through this depth. But there are more depth that, so many times people say, I connect to my soul. People, like you said, people use words that they can open them to more depth, but even there, they still materialize the understanding of this world. So it helps them on one hand, and still now, before they sense themselves as only as a personality, now they sense them as a divine, but they sense the divine in a close way. They didn't change order, because they don't have even they learn that they have to change order. It's like intellectual understanding, but they don't know how to processing life through there. And again, and there is, if I use gently, there is much more, even beyond the word that we use about the depth. And why it's so important? It's so important because it's really who we are. We cannot only live our life only through the personality or through another word that points to it, but we still have a materialized understanding of it. And I think this is why, and I can find this knowledge again in the Kabbalistic tradition. They have developed so much knowledge about it, and so much, can say, let's call it practices, but it's not practices. This is the way that you can really live your humanity. Because if not, the world is like it is when we see it. And this is the result of our narrowing understanding of to processing life, to processing, I even to say the precious of life, or the holy life, or the unknown life. And for me, it was very surprising when I met Jen Lin, and when I read with Dana, and she all the time, you have to understand that my first meeting with Jen Lin was all the time with quotation from a process model. And then after a few months, I said, when we have to, I think we have to spoke somewhere, and I said to Dana, maybe don't speak about these terms, because this probably all the focusing people already know these terms. And she said to me, Baruch, it's in the process model. How many people you think read the process model? It's not something that everyone that make a course in focusing, they know it. But I think the way, and here I want to reflect back to what the way that you, the subtle way that you reflect me back. I want to take your sensitivity and to say, I think today it's not only that we look for it, it's like we cannot without it. We cannot without it. This is, and I think so many people, there are people who say, I quote someone, he told me, I have everything, but I don't have the process of life. I have everything, but I don't have this. And many people, they even have the language, because today many practices, they point to this depth, but it is not many times, or they point to it, but they materialize the understanding. They still have a materialized understanding of the process of humanity, or they don't. The technique is very general. They don't know how to process in life through a first body experience. So this is why we feel that I can say the focusing can be something, a field, a field that it's very important field today in humanity, about humanity, not about on in the therapeutic field. It's like
maybe I will add. I'll just add something that two things. One is that it's not that when we are now we are. You maybe that's why you invited us, because you saw that we want a course that focusing as the holy commitment to the unknown, and through a Kabbalistic, also like a dialogue. It's not that we are now reading a process model or reading a Kabbalistic text and using and doing focusing, traditional focusing. What we are trying to do, and it's not easy, is not to come again into this space that people read the book or don't read and they don't understand. Is to create from it new insight and new life forward steps from both those fields. This is what we are trying to do. It's like to listen to what he wanted to say in a process model, to listen about the Kabbalistic wisdom and how you will create a process from it. What kind of steps, what kind of language will, how do you say, reify? Reify or objectify the deep meaning, and people will think that they're going to subtle or different order, but they will stay the same, and what will open, what will help their consciousness to move. So this is the project. I mean, I feel it will take us many years, but that's what we're trying to do, not to let people, okay, now go read that book, and no, how from it to take from this well, to take the treasures that are there, and to try to create a process that people can learn, but in a way will include as much as we can and as much as the people can, depth that until now I felt that we're missing.
So let me just make sure that I've got that. Because that's a really helpful kind of description of what it isn't. That it isn't taking two texts and somehow trying to cross them at a conceptual level. It's asking into the texts, sort of generating questions that invite a person to go deeper into themselves, that somehow you're trying to come up with a process. And I'm curious, can you say anything more about that? Because I'm getting the sense that in your courses, I would, if I was one of your students, I would encounter a process that is different than just learning focusing.
Yes.
And I'm really curious about that.
Let me just begin, and then Baruch, you can continue. But for example, you said before that you are in the process, and then something comes, and you find a name for it, and when the name is precise, it continues. Okay, so you're describing, but what we are describing, what is the process that it continues? Where it continues and where, from where, and who you are when you're in that process, and what does it mean to give a name? What a name is, and what does when you turn usually you tell focus people, okay, sense your body. Okay, what are you doing? A felt sense is something that is very. All those distinctions, all those concepts that are usually are like our jargon, the jargon that we are using, and we are transmitting it to other people, and then they are transmitting to their students. But in a way, they still hold what we call a transparent paradigm. It's not open. So can we use different kind of invitations? Can we use a different kind of explanations? Can we use a different kind of of um, responding from the position of the listener, what they are listening for, from where they are listening, and can it be on this level that we are speaking of, not the regular level that people describe what they're listening for and what they're sensitive for. So I'm just starting to say the questions that we're dealing with.
There are questions that, if I've got you, that invite the person to freshly sense, not just the jargon, but freshly sense what's actually happening.
But also now, what it means to sense. Okay, when you're saying freshly sense, what do you mean by sensing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What you are intending to do?
When I say that word right now, the word sensing might be different each time I use it, but right now, what I'm meaning by sensing is to include in my awareness the living that is coming forth in my chest as I listen to you.
Okay, so I'm following you. Include the living that comes forth is a beautiful description. In my chest, is it in your chest, the living that comes forth?
That's where I'm sensing it. But I wouldn't say in my chest, now that I hear you say that back. I would say in sounds too contained. I would say I could say maybe through my chest, or the living that stands out. I don't want to say in.
Okay, so we're slowly opening what people are so accustomed. Okay, it's here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sensation here, but you see, just pausing and reflecting. I didn't go now to page 148 in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to open the usual conception of what does it mean sensing life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in your chest.
Yeah, that's right. I find it there. That's where again, it's very difficult to say it. I could say that's where my awareness finds it.
And I will ask two other questions.
Mm-hmm.
When you relate to this sensation, what is the meaning of this sensation? What is the meaning that you have in your mind when you say I sense?
The meaning when I say I sense?
Yes. What is the meaning to say I sense?
I find myself not wanting to say what's the meaning of the act of sensing as much as wanting to be with the object of the sensing.
So you are with the object of the sensing, but why to be with the object of the sensing? What is this process? Why to do it? Why to be with the object of the sensing?
Because even though I don't know what the meaning is, I can feel that it is meaningful.
You are wonderful. You sense that it's meaningful. Wonderful. Many times, if we will continue now, I will ask you what is the meaningful that you sense. we can continue, and you already know that if we will continue, you will find more meaning to the word meaningful, to the sensation that you sense meaningful. Even this, if you will open it, you will find more.
Yes.
And as much as you will find more, even about the meaningful, I don't even want to say that maybe really even you will touch environment zero. Oh, it's not, it's beyond logic. Or maybe you will find a kind of surrender to interaction first. Or we can use after many words, but it's not important the words. It is important that many times, I can say in the regular process, it's enough for us to say, I sense it, it's meaningful. But as much as you open it through your experience now, not through knowledge, you can understand that you will sense even the sensation in a different way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it will carry forward something, I can say, it will carry forward in a new, something maybe more intricate, more essential to our life. Yes. I will say it in another way. I only used only to put it. Dana many times says that many times we have a habitual felt sense. It's already habitual felt sense, but even the felt sense, again, it's like what we spoke before, can be like a closed concept. And narrowing even the process that you started now, and even I feel the reverence, not only to use it to our conversation, because I feel that already we are with you, and you are with something so subtle. Okay? So this is part of the ways I can say that we work with.
Can I say what it reminds me of? Certainly, if I were to go deeper into the meaningful, that I have no idea what the meaning is, but I can sense it's meaningful. If I went deeper into that, I would certainly not come up with any of the jargon from a process model or any focusing jargon. Definitely not.
Absolutely. I only quote it only that
Yes.
because, like Jelin says, when you don't have another model, without to notice, we hold the model.
Yes.
So we have to cross more ideas about what it means, even the felt sense, in order to get rid from a model that we hold.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for me, the important thing that I'm getting from this, I'm not exactly sure if this is what you're intending, is that it is very important to not just habitually repeat the jargon.
Yeah.
And that then we end up with a conceptual process rather than the process that it was supposed to help us to find.
Yes.
But what it reminds me of, just these few minutes with both of you, is it reminds me of when I first learned focusing. And when I first learned focusing, I learned it from the book, and I began to practice it daily on my own. And I regret that in the focusing world, focusing alone has become so almost ignored. Because for me, if I focused alone, I would often end up not focusing just on an issue. I mean, I could do that if something was bothering me or in the way. But often what I would do is I would end up focusing on the process of focusing. And that's where, very similar to what we just experienced, that's where I would begin to sit with every single term and ask, well, what is that? Like if I were to say, I feel something meaningful in my chest, each of those terms I would open up like I, what is that? Is there an I here? And often it's like, no, there is no I there. So I have to change the sentence to get it closer to the actual experience. That's what it reminds me of.
It's very touching that
Yes.
you discover it by your own process. And you know, it's funny, but I will mention it that this is one thing that we include in our teaching, is we have focusing in pairs, of course, and also exercise to people that can do alone with writing every morning. They just do it as like a every day.
Good.
So it's not either or. It could be something with someone else, but also how you can do it by yourself with some gentle instruction to work with yourself.
Yeah.
And I will use it to say it again. The most important thing is not what is focusing. The most important thing is how we carry forward life. This is the most important thing. And I feel that maybe many sages in the generations, in the history, they tried a lot to bring it to humanity. I can say that I know more about my tradition, and we saw that really many times the terms of Genlin, the steps of Genlin, the way that he succeed to clarify movements that we have inside us can be something very meaningful to every human being in his life, and to today, to the culture, to humanity. That I think it's very touching that he was so carry about humanity. And this is something real. It's not something that I can say that I feel that the way that we understand, I can speak about what we are doing. It is not to escape the participate in life. Is really to participate in the creation. It is not to escape it, but this is a very very deep view in terms and understanding and steps, really to participate in life, and not only to avoid it, or only to release something, or to hear many. It can again, I think this is why we name it as focusing as a holy commitment to the unknown. This is the main thing. And
I want to just, when you say a holy commitment to the unknown, is that another way of saying that the most important thing is the carrying forward of humanity?
yes, because humanity itself is the carrying forward of the ... You can complete this sentence as you wish, but the most important thing is to do this, to know how to do this movement, and really to live your life through it. To live your life like our meeting, and after that I will have to go to say goodnight to my children, and that tomorrow I will dedicate time to teach, and
maybe I add because exactly this junction, something that long discussion with Baruch, that I was thinking all the time about I'm participating in carry forward situations. Look at the situations, and I participate in carrying forward and bringing slowly allowing new self-understanding to emerge, if I use Jelin's term. And through Baruch, slowly I also turned it to look at myself and see myself as a living process that carry forward from the unknown things like new self-understanding and concepts. So I'm not just caring for situation. I am myself in this very process carrying forward the unknown, the divine. What people can call it different names through their heart tendencies. But and Jelin says that the self is a process without content. But what does he mean? Okay, so
I'm curious about the term nothing or nothingness, because I pick up that term is being used in a particular way or has a specific meaning or something. I'm wondering if either of you could say something about that.
So Baruch, what is ayin? In Hebrew you say ayin. How the yesh, how what exists comes from ayin. Maybe you want to say a little bit about it.
You say one thing about it is I think is the layer that you have to evolve yourself to know it, because it's to be in a layer that really it's not something that I point to, but it's really a place that you live. Really, there are not concepts there by definition, and your consciousness can be in this place, in this state, in this mode, and from there, new thoughts can come. It's a kind of, when you are there, it's like from there new thoughts can start to be in a process of forming, of forming. And but you have to evolve the capacity to be in this state, because many times because if not, you will be in this state, but in a concept of this state, so you are missing this state. And this is not it's really a kind of evolving. You have to arrive, to evolve, to know this place. If I will say, and I will say even in another way, it's really a journey of life. It is a journey of life, that because we have glimpse from it. Every person has glimpse from it. Every person has a kind of connection with it. But really to live from it and to know this place, that it's not nothing, but it's not concepts. It's not. Okay, it's a state. It is a mode of state. And this state, even though there is no concept there, it is all the time. I want to say it's all the time. It's a very unique place. I will put near it. It's not explanation of this state, but I will put near it, only side by side. It's like the distinction that Jenin have between consciousness as a maybe you can as a light.
Yes, we usually think that our consciousness is like in a flashlight model, that we are moving a consciousness and then something that was hidden now is revealed.
And he speaks about the conscious by itself is all the time generate the existence. It is not like it's, and even he makes in one place that he speaks about the differences between to pay attention. That it is too many times we speak about I am aware, but is to pay attention, is narrowing something that is more essential. That in name it, he put it like he says, this is consciousness, not in the regular way that people speak about consciousness. Consciousness itself, it's a generate life. It is a process. Okay, I put it, and even I speak to understand what genuine. Because usually people when they speak about consciousness, they speak about something that they speak about awareness, or they speak about the model of only to put light. And I want to say again, you have to evolve something. We have to evolve as humanity something to know this place of consciousness. And here I come back to speak about the Ayin. And they are not the same, but I put it close. They have a lot of crossing between them. And I can say the Ayin is this state that from there, if you're in this mode, in this unique state of consciousness, can a change can emerge, new understandings can emerge, can be formed, and this is the place from there. When I say really new way of sensing life, understand life, participate in life, I think it's from there. It's from there. So this is the way that I can answer now freshly about this layer, to put it in the world.
It's difficult. As I'm listening to you, I feel like I get it and I feel like I lose it. And maybe that is accurate.
But it's a wonderful, in this, what we are, this is the part of the thing that we are sharing now, and we speak about. So this is the way.
When you say nothingness, I feel like I want to change it slightly to no thingness.
Yes.
That's something about what you're saying is it's not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering, since we've kind of gone over time, but could you say just a little bit? I'm sure the people that are watching are going to be fascinated by what you're talking about and pointing to, and would like to know a little bit more about what you offer in your courses. Can you say a little bit about that?
First of all, the first course in English is starting very soon. It's like next week. Because we said, okay, let's try to introduce although as you hear, it's not our mother tongue, we want to introduce it also to a wider audience.
Good.
And then in the course we are moving between very wide perspective, not trying to narrow the understanding, but very wide perspective, what we call the big picture, and also this minimalistic movement that can change how we are right now. So it's like we want that people will experience those concepts, know about them, know that it's one course we said it's legitimate to speak from the depth. Okay, so know that it's if you're longing for it, there's a place for it. Okay, There's a place for it, there are concepts for it, there is language for it, and there are tools, which is very important. Some of them, I don't think that there's we use Genlin's tools, we use Genlin concepts as tools.
Okay.
Okay, it's not like that I don't know, but from Genlin concept we can use tools. From maybe some pointers of the Kabbalistic world we can use tools, because this process is not a practice. It's not that we are learning a practice now. We're engaging in what is life for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this was I answered your question, but maybe you want to add something, Bob.
Yeah, no, I think you asked something very simple. We are going to open a course of focusing as the holy commitment very soon, next week. Then after we have another course in English, what I don't know how to translate it, in time zone of Australia, how to open the focusing consciousness. It is a course that we develop based on quotation from the process model. Yes, the right translation.
Yes.
And this is another area, maybe we have to dedicate another meeting to it. It's what we are teaching about the art of prayer. Because prayer, it's like a movement that usually people know the public, and they have a public understanding what it means, but in a way it is a very unique process that I think in our generation we have the ability really to learn it. I think many generations, even I can say they pray in many ways, in many traditions, but really I think we went through a kind of continue to develop the ability that I will put it now as like a mystery way, the art of prayer.
And I want to add something, if you just to describe that there's something that we didn't speak about it at all, but I just would add that also the TAE, thinking at the edge, how we understand it and teach it, I think is very different from how it is usually taught and understood, because it's like this practice is really its potential in what can happen to a human being going through this process is so much wider and stronger than how usually is perceived as like something that I'm very good at and I didn't have words for it. Okay, so we teach completely different. I mean, we have the spirit of the TAE steps, but again, what each step meant to be, how this process can carry our life when we're engaged in it. We see it, I think, differently.
When you say that, it sounds as though you have more of an equal emphasis on the person in the process as well as the potential conceptualizing or something that might come from the process.
Yes, the person in a way is reborn in the TAE.
Yeah. I feel like we've only sort of scratched the surface a bit here. I feel very full from what you've shared, though. I'm wondering if there's anything else that you haven't said that you would like to mention, or anything else you're passionate about that we haven't touched on.
Let me say one thing. It's real. It is real. Our life, it's real. And as human beings, we have the capacity really to evolve and to participate in the creation, not to only to, not only to be part of the creation, not only to complain about it, not only to have opinions, so many opinions we have about culture, about politics, but we have it's real that we have the ability to processing life and to carry forward life in every situation that we are. And this is something that we have to understand. Here, no one will make the work for us. We have to understand it and to have, and it's real and it's precious to do it.
And I can add that something Jelin is saying, we have to stop giving up, something like this. And I want to emphasize it. If we are, don't give up. I mean, there is so much wisdom there. There's so much beauty there. There's so much life there. And if you didn't find in focusing yet what you're looking for, or you find that it's just another wonderful tool that you are working with, there's so much more that can be opened. It's like this, I don't know how to call Jendrin, came with so much wisdom to share humanity, so let's now narrow it. And he really meant things that he said, he really meant. And we can take it very seriously.
That's interesting. Yeah, I find that I resonate with that, and I find it challenging, and I find it encouraging. But I like, I have to really get a sense of what you're saying. But the sense I have initially is that you are wanting people to have the experience of their active engagement in the constant and continual evolution of being human.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much about your sensitivity, and that the privilege that we have the opportunity to speak together and to open a door, to open to this knowledge. And thank you so much.
Yes, really, thank you so much. And I hope maybe what will evolve from it will be something more beautiful than we can envision.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much, and I hope maybe we could do this again.
Absolutely. With all our heart.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
bye
you.
for now.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.